Hey guys, it's Michaelos again, back with another video, and let's jump right into this topic of tracking calories and losing lower belly fat. So the first thing you're going to need is an application to help you track your food, and I would recommend Myfitnesspal to anyone that stumbles across this video. This application allows you to plug in your daily food, your calories, your macronutrients, and it allows you to get an overview of everything you've eaten during the day. The second thing you're going to need is a food scale, and make sure your food scale measures in grams or milliliters. And I would recommend for everyone to track their food in either grams or milliliters. Any other metrics such as cups could lead to you tracking your food inaccurately, and you want to be as accurate as possible when tracking your food. So after downloading Myfitnesspal, when signing up, it asks you a few questions like how much you weigh, what's your goal weight, what's your gender, what's your activity level, and it asks you what your weekly goal is, which I think you should ignore. You should already know what your calorie surplus or your calorie deficit should be. If you don't know what your calorie surplus or your calorie deficit should be, first I would recommend finding out what your maintenance calories are. So there's a bunch of calorie calculators you could find online, but I find that caloriecalculator.net is very accurate, and you could use this application to find out what your maintenance calories look like. Once you find out what your maintenance calories look like, if your goal is to put on weight, I would start off in a 300 calorie surplus, and if your goal is to lose weight, I would start off in a 300 calorie deficit. In fact, I made a whole video on burning fat while maintaining muscle, and you could check that out if you want to learn more on how you should go about losing weight sustainably. Alright guys, I'm going to show you how I track my calories / macronutrients throughout the day. And for those interested in losing lower belly fat, just stick around to the end of the video and I'll talk more on this topic. Guys, I'm going to film my breakfast now. So I normally use 2 whole eggs, and remember what I said about using a scale, and make sure your scale measures in grams. So I'm gonna measure my egg whites. I normally put 200 grams of egg whites. And I'm using this bread for today. 2 slices of that. I usually have this breakfast every morning. Okay, so now I'm just gonna go on Myfitnesspal. This is what I use, and I mentioned this in the video earlier. Whole eggs. I use 2, so I'm putting the number of servings as 2. 2 servings. That's done. Got it. And now I'm gonna add the egg whites. I used 200 grams of egg whites. So I type in egg whites. And let's type in egg whites 100 grams. Yep, so I type in egg whites 100 grams, and I'm putting 2 servings because I used 200 grams of egg whites. And all I'm gonna do with my bread, so Myfitnesspal actually has a thing where you could actually scan the barcode of your food item, and that makes it easier for you to track your food. I scanned my barcode, it came up 1 slice of bread, and I'm putting 2 servings because I used 2 slices. And it's that simple. So that's my breakfast right there. I normally don't track my spinach because it's very low in calories, and I don't normally track my vegetables. So that's it for my breakfast. Oh, and guys, one more thing. I normally use oil to make my eggs. So what I'm gonna do, I'm simply just gonna scan behind of this, and there you go. I have my olive oil. I normally use 1 tablespoon, so that will be 1 serving, and I plug that into. And now it's actually 504 calories. Alright guys, so I'm finished making my breakfast. I actually got kind of hungry, so I ate 1 already, but it's basically still 200 grams of egg whites, 2 whole eggs, some spinach, and 2 slices of protein bread. And I realized I made a mistake while plugging in my oil. So if you could tell, I don't know if the camera's gonna show, but 2 tablespoons of oil is 9 grams of fat. But I actually used 1 tablespoon of oil. So I'm going to have to go back on Myfitnesspal right now because it says the serving size is 2. I'm going to have to change that to half of the serving because I actually used 1 tablespoon. So instead it's 4.5 grams of fat. So my breakfast adds up to 464 calories. And guys, I also want you all to be careful with the oils. When you use a lot of oil, the calories can add up. Luckily, this oil I have is low in calories. As you can tell, 1 tablespoon is 4.5 grams of fat. So if you could look into lower calorie oil options, this could really help you reach your goal if that's weight loss. Okay guys, it's now 2:44 p.m. and I'm just having lunch. I just cut up some sweet potato here. It's not measured yet. However, I put 2 tablespoons of olive oil this time and a bunch of seasoning, and I'm gonna cook it in the air fryer. And guys, if you're measuring your food, it's either you measure it before it's cooked or after it's cooked. I normally measure my food after it's cooked, and I'll be having that with some chicken, which is already cooked. But yeah, after this is cooked, I'll measure everything and I'll let you all know how it's done in Myfitnesspal again. Okay guys, so my sweet potato is finished now. This is how it looks. In the air fryer, I had it in for around 15 minutes. So now let's get it measured. I'm going to turn on my scale. It's saying 0 grams, and I'm going to put the sweet potato in and let's see how much it is. Okay, so my sweet potato is measured at 366 grams. So I would make sure to put that number on Myfitnesspal. I'm gonna measure my chicken and I'm aiming for 200 grams of chicken. Okay, 203 grams of chicken, I will take that. Okay guys, this is the finished product. So we got 203 grams of chicken breast and we got 366 grams of sweet potatoes. So I'm gonna plug that in on Myfitnesspal right now. So I know the scale said 366, but to make it easier for myself, I'm gonna plug it in as 360 grams of sweet potato. Plug in sweet potato. Okay, this one says 100 grams. So the serving size says 100 grams. So I'm gonna put in three. So I'm gonna put in 3 servings. In a fraction decimal, that'll be 0.20. I'm gonna plug in my chicken breast as 200 grams. So let's make this as easy as possible. Chicken breast 100 grams. And I'm just gonna put it in 2 servings of that. And that's my lunch right there. I realized I forgot to plug in the oil that I put on my sweet potatoes on Myfitnesspal. So I'm gonna do that right now. Oil, I put 2 tablespoons, which is 1 serving. So that's 1 whole serving. How am I not losing weight? I even track my calories and I'm hitting this amount of calories. No, Suzanne, it's because you're not tracking your oil. Make sure to track your oil when you're tracking your food. Okay guys, it's now 6:40 p.m. and I'm gonna make myself some oatmeal with protein in it. Yes, so I measured my oatmeal. I put 90 grams and now I'm just gonna put my protein in it, a scoop of protein. Okay guys, my oatmeal is mixed in with my protein and now I'm just gonna put a serving of blueberries inside of it. Blueberries are in and now I'm just gonna put a tablespoon of peanut butter inside. One tablespoon of PB is 15 grams. So I don't know if you all could see, but this is how it looks. Right here. Hopefully you all could see it. So getting into the topic of losing lower belly fat, unfortunately we can't spot reduce fat, or in other words, we can't choose where we want our bodies to get rid of fat. And doing a million ab exercises isn't going to get rid of your lower belly fat. I know some people actually refer to this as stubborn belly fat, but guys, once you're in a calorie deficit, over time the belly fat should go away, but you need to make sure your diet is as sustainable as possible. Unfortunately, this is where many people mess up because they end up cutting calories way too drastic and they make the weight loss process very difficult for themselves, so they never end up getting to a point where they lose their lower belly fat because they could no longer diet, and that's because their diet wasn't sustainable. If you want to make your weight loss sustainable and actually burn your lower belly fat, again guys, check out my previous video. I gave you a complete guide on weight loss while actually maintaining your muscle mass. And that's it for today guys. Thank you for watching. If you could leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Until next time, peace.